House or Senate, any one of you out there, that you literally are propping up your person and pretending that this is all working just fine. She's the most vibrant. She's the most vibrant. They're awake. They're alert. They're available. They're reading. They're learning. They're debating. I mean, come on. If that was me, I wouldn't do that job. I wouldn't want to. Right. Hey, and now to get to my point, I was going to talk about immigration, but it kind of all fits in with the gentleman you had on from the FBI. We have all these politicians and all this stuff saying fight ICE, all this stuff. We have people on social media, trans people stuff going, shoot trans folks and all this. Yet none of them are in jail, and then we wonder why we have all this stuff going on. Because they all know they can get by with it. Why isn't Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters in jail for calling for violence? That's why they keep getting by with this. Tom Homan makes me mad because he went out and said, I'm going to arrest these mayors, these governors for harboring illegals and that. Well, that's arrested. That's for specific. Let me slow down. Violation of law where they take an action that's arrestable. To be fair to that, a lot of them stay within the realm of speech, and they get to do that. They get to lie. They get to make their pronouncements like Mamdani does or any of them. It's when they violate law, if they impede. By the way, we have actually seen that, not with mayors. What was the judge? Oh, God. She was just sentenced about a week ago. Yeah, Kenosha or whatever. Yeah. There actually, I think there have been two judges. I think it was another one. There are two of them, I believe, that have been prosecuted for impeding. So they are doing that, but they have to rise. They have to rise to that level of violating the actual law. Because then, if you don't get them the right way, you have a whole second argument where they're going to say it's the dictatorial, blah blah blah. Anyway. All right, Todd, good to hear from you, man. Oh, you got one more? Go for it. I'm generous. Yeah, just real quick. On the terrorist attack that they're going to do at the 250th, here's all these people. I wonder how many of those guys that were arrested live with their mommy yet. Thankfully, Tyson Proper's mother, thankfully his mother made the call. For whatever reason she made the call, I know we publicly know virtually little or nothing about her, and I'm okay with that. Thankfully, she made that call because even at a minimal, the mass attack, the mass panic, if they didn't do it with weapons, what it could mean, people could be crushed, people could be hurt. But again, this is what happens when the people who sit around talking to Algae at the reflecting pool, when one of them gets into gamer world a little bit too much or gamer mindset and thinks it's okay, I'm going to go out and live my Grand Theft Auto, whatever fantasy, and that's dangerous. Todd, thanks for the call, man. Congressman Mark Harris, speaking of Democrats, we had him on the show, 2 days ago? What's today? Today's Tuesday. I got to keep track of the days. I just go by shows. Here's what he had to say. Play this. We'll go back to the calls.
The Democrats, they are exactly where they have been for the last year and a half or 2 years. Really longer than that. They are still leaderless. They are still rudderless. And they really have no idea what they want to put forward in terms of a message that goes beyond their Trump derangement syndrome, which I continue to say is very, very real. And that's exactly where I think they find themselves. There's no question. They've got the far left wing of the party, the socialists, the democratic socialists they call themselves, that have simply mounted an incredible takeover. When you see how these primaries are playing out in so many different places, you've got Mamdani front and center leading this movement, and it's just amazing. And I even saw an interview with the number 2 guy in the Senate, and when he was even asked a question about, should you be talking about what things you want to do, he even went so far as to say, I don't think that this is the right time for us to do that. So they don't don't have a message. They don't really know what they want to do. They just hate Donald Trump, and they want to just try to right now figure out, can they even salvage a party that is blowing up in many ways right before their eyes and electing some really crazy idea people.
But yet they're influencing millions of Americans. And they affect millions, they influence millions, and then 1 or 2 or 7 at this point, or maybe up to 20 or 23, decide they're going to pull off an attack. And there's somebody else out there talking to Al-J, living in their distorted
Morning, NWO.
world.
Happy fuck Cops Day.
The Zora Mamdani's, the Ilhan Omar's, the ideologically perverted. And there are, frankly, within the Democrat Party, okay, maybe you hear from Fetterman in the statements once in a while. What prominent Democrat, quote, to use the term leader, air quotes, is out there saying, no, you can have your opinions, you can hate Trump, you can hate Republicans and those Neanderthals and those, call them all the names, irredeemables and more. But you know what? Let's not anybody try to kill any of them. When have you heard that from Chuck Schumer or anyone out there?
Can't even read the screen. It's so bright here. I'm trying to fix something remotely here.
866-95-PATRIOT-957-2874. John in Oklahoma.
Hey there, David. With the celebration of this beautiful country 250 coming up, I was just wondering, how will you be celebrating? With what cigar and what drink will you pair it with?
8 o'clock this morning it cut off. Okay.
I can't do it on the 4th, but it's because of where I will be. And I'll make that announcement very soon. So I won't be allowed to drink while I'm there. Prior to that, I'll be in D.C., so I think I'll have one of the relevantly named Founding Fathers bourbons, just to kind of add the name to it. Maybe like a Jefferson's, because it's Jefferson's name.
Hello, thank you for calling us. Please leave a message and your contact information, and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay. That's not good.
Bourbon, like a Horse Shoulder, or many of the companies that are coming up, the veterans programs there. And of course,
Bill Day is until June 17th.
It's a Freedom Cigar. When I created that, along with the guys, with Chuck and the guys at Deployment Cigar, it was to have something that was bigger than any one of us. And as you know, John, my motto is simple: if you can't sell freedom, you suck. And so it will be the Freedom Cigar. As a matter of fact, Chuck, if you're listening, I got a pretty good stock. I'm going to have to combine both so I have enough for DC. All right, never mind, Chuck. Just ignore me. We'll talk later. But yeah, that's it. So Freedom Cigar, something with a Founding Father's name in it. Even if it's not my favorite expression or my expression of choice at the time. That's the way I think I'll go. I'm pumped. I am pumped. I will tell you soon when I'm allowed. Just when I'm allowed. What and where I will be on July 4th. I will share that with you. We'll be doing some other specials between now and then. Admiral Connell, CNO, others will be on the show. We're working on a special that will air on July 4th. This is the International Naval Review, the International Air Show, and then the International Tall Ships Parade. I mean, that's just phenomenal. The world is coming to celebrate 250 years of success. Oh, the left would have you believe that. Look at all of America's warts and her bad sides and the things that are the evil things. And that's not who we are. That's a part of who we were. The goal is to become a more perfect union. We are that beacon of success. And the world is coming to celebrate. I can't tell you how many, because I really just don't keep count, but I have friends and family all around the world. And we talk and we communicate freely. And here's something the left will tell you. The rest of the world, so many of them are excited. I'm talking about the people, maybe not all.
Twice on Tuesdays. I like that.
Legends Recovery. How can I help you?
I'm just making sure the phone's working.
Yep.
All
Yep,
right.
they're working.
All right. Well, they weren't working. Is this Bree?
This is Reba.
Okay. Well, Bree had called me and said they weren't working there. So,
yep. At least our nursing phone is. Did you call the nursing number or did you call the tech phone?
This is the tech phone, right?
No, it rings through to the nursing phone if the techs don't answer. I'll make sure the tech phone is that it actually rang, and I will have Bree text you or call you if not.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
The politicians, so many of them are excited about America 250. Talking to a friend of mine in Sweden yesterday. It just absolutely.
Sounds like it's working.
Wow. I mean, it's like America 250. It's something, you know, there have been other empires, 1,000-year empires, to use the term, dynasties in China, and Ottoman.
Ooh, it's a pretty kitty.
Roman, and all of these and more. But for a effect on the world, a positive effect, and a growing positive effect, nothing touches what's happening with this country. We're the first truly constitutional.
Hey, Jody.
With
hey, let me know what you want to do.
Judeo-Christian spirituality, Hellenic values, and truly diverse conglomeration of people all over the place that have come together.
Let me know what you want to do with fantasy football.
Empires, the Romans had different, the Moors, they had, different parts of the Roman Empire. But what this country represents, but look around. Even though there are other ethnicities and cultures that have come together to form empires and more, we're something different. We're something 250 years old. By the way, the left, I saw this article in the Times yesterday. America won't survive another 250, really? It's the New York Times, 866-95-PATRIOT. I'll be right back.
Hey, it's me, Sebastian Maniscalco. If you're fed up or confused as I am, tune into the Sebastian Maniscalco Show. Every week, me and my longtime friend Pete Corielli get into it. Catch brand new episodes premiering every Tuesday with replays throughout the week on my exclusive Sirius XM station, Sebastian Maniscalco's
Looks like it's working.
Radio.
Let me shut this off so I don't burn any more battery. I'll have to plug it in.
And on the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if a family member or friend asked you for financial advice or where to go for tax help, well, would you send them somewhere with hundreds and hundreds of complaints? Of course not. That's why for years you've heard me say if you do owe back taxes, if you didn't file returns in the years gone by, or if you are a business owner and you're behind on your payroll taxes, you need to call my friends at Rush Tax Resolution today. Now, hiring the wrong company can make your situation a lot worse and put you, your family, and or your company in jeopardy. Now, there are a lot of imposters out there, but Rush Tax Resolution, they are the only tax relief firm I trust and recommend. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have protected so many of my listeners from tax disasters. And
all right, back to work.
Money. Call Rush Tax now for a free IRS transcript investigation, and they'll tell you upfront and for free if they can help you. They will only take your case if they know they can help you, period. 800-258-7050. 800-258-7050. RushTaxResolution.com.
Out here, every mile matters, so make every mile count. Diesel fuel is the lifeblood of your engine, and the cleaner it is, the better your truck performs. That's why there's Howe's Diesel Defender. It removes water, boosts lubricity, and cleans your fuel system, helping you burn fuel more efficiently and get more power from every drop. Use it at every fill-up for better performance and cleaner fuel. When you're counting miles, count Diesel Defender from Howe's. Find Howe's at retailers nationwide. Visit Howe'sProducts.com for more information. Wesley Financial Group is not an offer. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that time?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to even do it this year, because
maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do.
I guess the NFL's not doing it anymore. They passed it off to ESPN or something.
Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've had over.
I think ESPN was a better system anyway.
Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation. Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331. 800-848-1331. After the news breaks, we analyze and clarify. You form opinions. The David West Show. I always have to beg for forgiveness from me when I do this to you. Kamala Harris is, of course, primary day. She won't go away. She will not go away. Still trying to stay relevant, empty, and vacuous as she is. But, okay, is anybody really surprised she's on with Don? I've failed at everything I've tried to do, Lemon. And here she is. And hang on, Anthony, before you play, let's go to Democrats. And I think we just have to call it that. They're just pushing socialism. Right? How do you separate DSA from Democrats when they're all...
My video's not coming.
In the same house, I don't know. And they're taking it. But Kamala Harris, in an effort to stay relevant in the middle of primary season, there's a slight rumor that, and I kind of hope she does, that she might run for president again. Please, Kamala Harris, anybody with me? Should she run for president again? By the way, she's got campaign debts to pay off. And if she runs again, she can raise money to pay off those debts. Because right now, she's not only a loss, she's a net loss politically and financially. That's according to many reports. I don't know how much, but, what's a couple $1 billion between friends in 109 days? Ask him. But this is Kamala Harris. Boy, did we dodge a bullet. Can you imagine if she would have been president when you hear cut to?
I really truly believe this. We each have light inside of us. And we need to know that is what inspires our hope as much as anything external to us.
Okay, hang on a second. You gotta pause.
And when
was that your reaction? Anthony started doing this, like, you put your head down, you're like kind of rubbing your forehead. Is that what you were doing?
Oh, wow. I'm on my username and not my channel, so let me fix that.
Feel that and not allow an election or an individual to dampen that light, and instead let that light kind of carry some tickets from months of darkness, that we not only act on that hope, but we inspire that hope in each other. And in particular at this moment, it is so important that we not only have hope, but that we understand that should be a verb.
Oh, now you're going to make me look this up. The Harvey Dent speech in Dark Knight. we're gonna have to check that in the break. Okay, I'm gonna use AI and check that out. Hey, Kamala Harris. Yeah. Oh my God. I just had to look up. He put his head in his hands and go, "You did a face palm." There you go. Like, I'm out of here, man. I'm done. Yeah, and vacuous was the word that Martha McCallum used yesterday on the show. I don't know. Yeah, she's vacuous. She is. She has no thought of her own. She really doesn't. Anyway, let's see. 86695 Patriot. What do we have here?
Damn.
Jonathan in Tennessee. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, man, that was quick, really. I just called in. I didn't even call up a one-liner yet for you.
I'm trying to get it.
The Supreme
You have too much time to think. And we know how
I'm a
that
truck driver. You're my... I'm a truck driver. I'm sitting in this truck for 10 hours a day sometimes. I talk to you more than I do my family.
Okay, to be fair, go ahead.
No, eat a booger, dude. So, anyway, the Supreme Court, apparently, according to Just the News, rules against lawful permanent residents. If you heard anything about the rulings that are coming out today, about the birthright citizenship, they came out yet?
I have not had a chance to look them over, obviously, because you know what I'm doing here, but I plan on that for tomorrow. I think we're going to get 4 or 5 today. I think that's what's
John
expected.
Solomon just said Supreme Court rules against lawful permanent residence and border admission dispute. Is that birthright citizenship thing?
No, that's what's that case? That's not birthright citizenship. And by the way, that's reflective of what was it Sweden just did? They just voted, or not voted? They voted last year to take away permanent asylum status. I'll look at them after the show. They'll be coming out during the day. We've got let's see, I think I heard 4 or 5 decisions expected today, maybe more. But we'll see. There's a bunch of them. This is the week. This is the week.
All right. Well, what do lesbians and mechanics have in common?
I think you've used this one before, but anyway, go for it.
They both use Snap-on tools.
Yeah, you used that one before. All right, drive a little longer. Come up with another one. Call me back.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Call the family and say hello. Damn it, they're calling me going, Jonathan never talks to us anymore. All right.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, be safe out there on the road. Brian in Alabama, 86695 Patriot. Go ahead, Brian.
What did she just say?
I'm staying.
If I'd have known you were going to add her on, I'd have got my salad tongs out just to make sure I could toss that.
She's just vacuous. I'm with Martha McCallum on that. That's a good one.
Yeah, the hard part is it's just an empty vacuum. She's so hollow. I think
you still there, Jody?
What we need to worry about 2028 is the Don Lemon Pete Buttigieg ticket. I mean, that's bring pride back, make pride great again.
Well, I mean, at least he'd be running with a white man. Yeah, I said it out loud.
God. So,
there we go.
They don't need a message. They don't need a solution. They just need to go out there and say, we hate Trump, we're going to stop Trump, we're going to defund ICE, and that'll bleed down to their base. They'll love it. They'll eat it up. They don't care. As long as they can get somebody to stop Trump, and then in 28 it will be to undo what Trump has done to our democracy, our country, totally destroyed it. When people have money in their pocket, gasoline is below $3 a gallon. So.
I take another, and this was a dinner conversation last night, actually, so I'll repeat a little bit of the dinner conversation. I think Democrats see the loss coming. Now, nobody can guarantee, I can't guarantee it, nobody can predict the future. Too many variables, and none of us are gone. But I think the Democrats look at what's happening now, in spite of the narrative, the lies, the things they're selling or trying to sell to people, and frankly, a small enough base that can't get them a general election, a national election. And they just need to keep pushing the narrative to create more division, because I don't think they see any one of them that's really looking at this, and based on where we are now, sees a win in 2028, but not for the reasons even related to Trump. They don't have a bench. They don't have a bench they can sell nationally. I mean, who are you going to sell to the Indiana voter, the Midwest voter, the Carolina voter? Are you going to sell Newsom or Kamala Harris or somebody else? Yeah, that's not likely. Who are you going to sell to the Ohio voter? You're not likely to sell Newsom to Ohio. So when you look at that perspective from there, this is why they need to just keep going on their path.
All right,
because they
get on order. So I'm going to run in. Be right back.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It could change. All this freaking change.
Right. But I don't think like Newsom or, even, Kamala, whatever it is this week.
Literally just came out of my head. I had no forethought on that. It just came out that way. It worked.
Yeah, that's so good. But their policies, they don't sell past the Rockies. When you go each state, it doesn't sell. And, Kakala, she can't even win her own state.
Look, she has been empty, vacuous, doesn't have a clear enough thought of her own. That's one of the reasons she's inauthentic and does not have an appeal. Thanks for the call, Brian. Dave in South Carolina. Let's have it, Dave.
Hey, David, how are you?
Kakala's not bad. They just kind of rolled off the tongue. I don't know. What do you think? Should I keep it or throw it away?
I like it. Actually, I call her a chameleon, like a chameleon.
Yeah, but a chameleon has a purpose. For being a chameleon.
Yeah, I guess you're right, David. Yeah.
Let's not insult chameleons on this show. No, seriously, go ahead.
I got thinking the other day when Joe Biden was paraded out at the Obama Center opening, and how the difference, the contrast between him and Ronald Reagan, when Ronald Reagan had, written a letter to the country about his Alzheimer's, and what a dignified way to bow out. And Nancy kept him pretty protected, and that sort of thing. And the difference between the tale of two first ladies, and how I just think it's such a disgrace that, first of all, I'm no Joe Biden fan, and I'd love to see him behind bars, but, just the difference, the contrasting between these two.
The difference is between the families, and to your point, not just about the first lady, Nancy versus Jill, but to the two families. You had in Reagan, again, that honesty and forthright behavior. The left tried to lie. They did lie about him while he was in office. He did not have Alzheimer's in office, but he had a loving, caring family. Like everybody else, different people in the family, different views, but he had a loving, caring family. In Joe Biden's case, because this is how they operate, it was usury. Jill used Joe, Joe used Jill, they use Hunter, Hunter uses them. It's all about what they can get out of the person. Therefore, there's a lack of empathy, a lack of caring that we see on full display. A remarkable difference from what you saw with the Reagan family. And still miss Michael, miss my brother, but the big difference there. Dave, I got to run here, my friend. That's it. Third hour. Fred Gaffney coming up next hour. And your calls, 866-95-PATRIOT.
BillsHappen.com is not good. It does not meet credit. Must be 18 years old. Not available.
Everything's so expensive, and the bills are piling up.
Get something new. Credit cards are maxed out. Rent is due. Car payments right around the corner. We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Gail Daughtry's perfect small-town life comes crashing down when her fiancé takes his celebrity pass, literally, and has sex with... Now, Gail must make good on her own celebrity pass. Find and have sex with John Hamm. Zoe Deutsch is Gail Daughtry in a new film that will shatter everything you thought you knew about a woman running all over Hollywood trying to John Hamm. Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. Only in theaters July 10th.
I'm John Hamm, and I approve this message. Freedom never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Alex Hamilton.
I've already been to this place once today. Where I'm going now with this delivery.
Says the talks got off to a good start and will continue, even though he is now back home in the U.S.
We left a lot of our team. The Iranians left a lot of their team at the resort there to keep on working at it. So all in all, a very productive 36 hours. We're going to have to keep working.
Among other things, Iran agrees to allow international nuclear inspectors back into the country. Those inspectors would work in accordance with guidelines laid out by the U.S. Many years ago, the Iranians kicked all inspectors out of the country. The Treasury Department now allowing the Iranians to sell oil on the international market, that for a period of 2 months. Most of the $80 billion the Trump administration is seeking from Congress to pay for the cost of the Iran war. Following Senate action, the House could take a vote today on legislation aimed at helping more people live the American dream.
The U.S. Senate has passed a bipartisan housing bill that aims to bring down home prices and increase supply.
On this vote, the yeas are 85 and the nays are 5. The motion to concur is agreed to.
The vote represents one of the most sweeping efforts in recent decades to reduce federal regulations for housing and expand the local control. The legislation bans corporate investors from buying single-family homes. The House is expected to give the bill final approval later this week and send it to President Donald Trump, who has signaled his support. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The heat, intense heat, is on in France and some other European countries. They're in the grip of a punishing, potentially deadly heat wave. It is expected to persist at least through Friday. Wall Street managing to take back some of what it lost at the opening bell this morning. The Dow is now up 59 points, but the NASDAQ is 377 points lower. More on these stories, townhall.com.
There's a moment nobody talks about with weight loss. It's the moment it stops working.
Why is the NASDAQ down so much? Because they're shorting SpaceX.
That's why. When your body's under stress, it slows your metabolism. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. At PhD Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism. And right now, when you call and mention Mike G, you get 2 free weeks and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864.
Take the body of their ancestors. Oh, good timing, Mr. Black. Everyone's let me in because you know it's, and I don't want to. Do it. I don't want to. Do it. I know it. I wrote it. Do it.
Here's your ancestors' Last Supper. Take of my motherfucking body. Drink my seed, fam. They wouldn't be able to crucify him because he's so fly.
They had to use Dior nails.
Instead of giving him vinegar on a sponge, it's just diet. He's a bitch.
Yeah, he was wearing cross trainers.
Like, here's the thing. We had before you say blasphemy, we had something uniting Black and white Americans. We've gotten far away from it. Christianity. That was what united us. That was a big part. By the way, large Christian nuclear households in the black families here in the United States. They went to church at higher rates than white people. We all realized, hey, slavery was wrong. And the central component of the healing was, hey, we agree that it's wrong because we serve a God who tells us that we can't treat people this way. Can we move forward? And then that also was paired with forgiveness. These messages from the left are distinctly anti-God. They're distinctly anti-Christian. Why? Because there's no forgiveness. There's no redemption. There can be no absolution. And there certainly can't be accountability. So it's silly. And you look at it. It's not Jay-Z drinking the blood of unborn children, whatever it is. These conspiracy theories. I'm sure that people
got your workout done. I'm just starting my work.
Yeah, we're not going to forgive.
Delicious. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
That's not like watermelon.
Also, you know who wanted us to appreciate Black cuisine? Early Black entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That was the thing. It was, hey, come try it. Isn't it great? There was also some healing there. Now it's appropriate. Everything that could result in healing, could result in bridging the gap, has now been made to be a landmine field. That's what it is.
Landmine field.
You can like it, but not too much. That's cultural appropriation. Yeah, well, we're not going to forgive because down the line, the way it turns out, my forefathers were slaveholders, Sonny Hostin. Oh, let's just ignore that. It's all, and then they blame you for the division.
Yeah.
These extreme people on the right. Everything they push is a direct move to force more division. It's not your fault for responding to it and isolating
the Browning Masonic community
seeking to divide this country, and they've been successful.
Second time I've been here today.
Second Amendment.
Did a Kroger order
In the
earlier.
United States for a very long time. It became politicized, and now it's come full circle. It's the single biggest losing issue for the left. They don't even push it that much. They'll still, though, whenever there's a mass shooting before the bodies are cold, they'll try and trot something out. They have to for their donor class. But you've been told from the left that it's a uniquely American phenomenon, mass shooting. It's not true. It's never been true. Of course, more violence in the United States is being carried out with guns than, say, knives, because we have access to them, but we don't have the highest violent crime rate in the world. We do not have the highest mass shooting rate in the world. And if you eliminate, if you take away from the statistics, the majority of white Anglo-Saxon Americans, guess what? You'd have one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Hey, we'd be like Norway. We get it now. Let's bring you to Montreal. There was a shooting yesterday. Just awful tragedy. It's the fourth one, to my recollection, in the city of Montreal in my lifetime. Did you guys know that? Check the references. We make them available every show. We stream weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Is there another American city where you can go, wait a second, 4 mass
That's horrible.
in the same zip code?
Yeah, Fort Carmelo.
I can't think of one. Obviously,
The stabber.
Gang shootout notwithstanding. So yesterday, this shooting took place, I believe, in the Côte d'Ivoire neighborhood, Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go through the details. Each one is worse than the last.
A Montreal police officer, a civilian, and a suspect are dead Monday after a shootout between a commercial...
Be right back. All right. I don't know why it disconnected. I didn't go that far. Dun, dun, dun. Let's just put it on.
I won't want to get your take more than my take, if you will. I started, and I mentioned critical earth minerals. Over the weekend, I decided to look at the track of when we actually extracted, going back to the 80s. So we're going back more than a few decades here. And the trajectory of us was rising. China was flat or diminishing. And then at some point, China began to rise. We began to decline. It was almost an inverse relationship in the chart.
It absolutely needs to stop. It's ridiculous. The division. Thanks, Obama. This country was finally coming together until Obama. I'm serious. I truly believe that.
But then came the cultural, then came the real estate investment trust, then came the and we've talked before, you and I, over the decades probably, Frank.
Option is to go to a firearm, right? They're going to feel more intimidated more quickly, more rapidly than, say, someone like Gerald. Yeah. Their only tool is going to be mechanical advantage. They are a female officer, don't care how tough she is never, ever going to subdue a male, let alone one on PCP who's slightly above average in size. What we seem to see here, and we have clips from multiple angles, we want to point out to you what's going on, is this female officer mistook a bystander for the shooter. Looks like she shot him, and then after that ran away, which left others exposed. Basically, the worst way you could handle it, and I get that these officers have difficult situations. Here's the breakdown. That's someone watching. Female officer is behind the barrier. Holy shit. You'll see her. The shooter, there's the female officer. Yeah, so it's chaotic. And maybe we could get the aerial angle, if we have it, of where she allegedly, potentially shoots the bystander, because that's a little bit clearer. He didn't act in a way that would be in accordance with self-preservation, I would say. But she reacted, startled. That's a big thing, reaction time, the difference between men
women. Let's get into this, because if you are in a fire, the third story, be honest, you want to see a medium-sized lady show up. You're dealing with a violent perp in your house, it's on drugs. You want to see an average-sized woman show up. Let's just be real about this, and let's get the studies reflect this time and time again. They've looked at male units versus mixed units, not just male units versus female, male units versus mixed units, and the all male units are faster, more accurate. They get injured less. They are far better actually at acting in a coordinated form of movement, working as a unit, working as a team. This is something that anyone who's been in any type of organized sports, or very likely the military, would know. It's a better dynamic the more homogenous it is, particularly as it relates to gender. We have study after study, even if I will say that the men's personal training regimen can be seen rightfully as questionable. It works. And you're still no better at the hockey dance. And you practice. It'd be worse if you didn't practice, but you practice, and it's still offensively bad.
It's like balloon animals. It takes time.
I thought it was good. I was
okay.
intimidated.
All right.
No one wanted to be around him, that's for sure.
That's true. That's absolutely true. So there you go. When it comes to female officers having to deal with perps, they are less effective. They're significantly more injured, far more often. And, big indicator that's very important. People talk about women in the gym. Some women will be able to train a movement. Females in general, the grip strength is just something that cannot be overcome. And it's a rate limiting factor in a lot of physical altercations, barring hyperly technical training. 95% of men have greater grip strength than nearly all female athletes trained specifically in grip-centric sports. It's just, they also have failed far more often standard pistol qualifications under realistic training scenarios, particularly if there's a heavier trigger pull weight, which is standard in many police units. As far as reaction time, men have much faster reaction times, to be clear.
Surface combustion.
Stress. That's the primary difference between the male and female brain. This myth of multitasking. It's not, people can't really multitask. Women often have more neural flexibility to go from one task to another, which appears as multitasking. Men are better at locking in on one, even during times of stress. It's not like these other societies that didn't have access to books, to libraries, to data, to scientific information. It's not like they missed it when they said, okay, men are better hunters.
Wouldn't be the first time they showed something and misrepresented it.
They react better. So we want them to do that, and we want the women to be in the village doing things that are important, but maybe more tasks that are lower stress. They're more effective at that. That's something that everybody knows. But for some reason, in the name of equality, we put women into positions where they just biologically are incapable of, at large, being as effective as men. The result? More people die. More accidents happen. More lapses in judgment. Just the injury rates alone. Like if you look at females in the Army, they're 67% more likely to be discharged.
Found a new spot to sit and wait for orders.
Musculoskeletal disorder.
I'm going to keep taking them until about 12:30.
Army specifically.
Before I have to head out.
Look at Marine.
I have an appointment at 2:30 p.m. at the VA in Ann Arbor. So we'll head that way. I got to change the
for a very long time. And it's one of those situations where when I talk with people in real life,
title of the stream,
it's incredibly rare to even hear a woman go, well, I think that women should be.
So I can get stopped.
I think that women should be on the front lines. You're going, who is pushing this?
Yeah.
Let alone, it's now the norm.
Yeah, it's always about being allowed to do something. It's like, should we look a little bit past that? Like, do we really want that? So let's take this female cop. I think she's probably going to be a very, let me put it this way. She's almost 100% going to be less safe around other people in this situation. She's not going to be able to secure people easily. She's not going to be able to subdue a suspect or cover her partner as well. Even if it's a 7 to 10% difference, that's enough, right, in this situation. So it's bad for her, and it's bad for everybody else. I don't want to put her in that situation on top of everybody else in that situation, right? I want to keep her out of that situation. I want a man to go in there and have to do the hard stuff. like this and have to protect other people and potentially die to protect the community. I don't want to send our women into those situations. Why aren't we thinking more on those lines instead of saying, well, just I can do anything a man can do? It's like, but that's really not the point. Yeah, at this point. And no, you can't. But that's really not the point. Right. It comes out of this, okay? Let's just say we approach police force, military as unselfishly as possible. All right. Take away your political views. Take away what you want to do as far as serving your country. For example, there's some people who
as soon as I stop, I got a new order.
And they can't because they don't have the vision
Taco
for it.
Bell.
Right? Yep. When you are applying for the police force or military, ask yourself, are you the best person to
nice
be doing
band
this
one too.
job?
Nice.
Or are you taking the spot of someone who could be? It's that simple. Could someone be more physically capable?
So
Is
here
there
we
someone
go.
out there who statistically may have a higher aptitude for this type of profession? And if the answer is, yeah, you are actually not the best for this job, and it involves people's lives other than your own, step aside. Make room for the right person. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's that simple. I mean, just the load-bearing stat in the Marines. Like, why are women in the Marines, of all places? The female Marines, that should be an oxymoron. Just like jumbo shrimp. It makes no sense.
Their uniforms fit really nicely.
Well, good. Along with the stretch.
They do. What do you want from me?
The stretchy maternity flight suits. Yeah, let's spend a few $1 billion on that. Call it progress. But we do all have to bear the load of taxes, which sucks. Luckily, there's help out there with Tax Network USA. Dios mío.
What does overpaying on your taxes feel like?
He's a bad guy, huh? Why is this pointing so far? Oh, there we go. Fix that bitch. No, canted that way.
About like that. Don't let the IRS bust your balls. Visit tnusa.com/Crowder for immediate relief and expert guidance.
And sorry to our Canadian viewers, they can't help you. Just enjoy that top 52% top marginal tax rate that kicks in really quickly, and your 14 to 15% sales tax. It's a silly country. I don't know why we haven't taken it over.
Plenty of reasons. Mostly that we just don't want it. We'll take the resources.
Yeah.
And some of the people are pretty cool, but a lot of the people, we don't want it. Just leftists.
Well, there's a manifesto from the shooter.
Good. They always do that.
Yeah, and I don't really even want to give you his name, or I certainly
idiot.
don't want to make the person famous, but I do
Yield
think
does not mean stop.
important to know the motivation, because the media will misrepresent it. It's
Yield.
talked about a lot in American
Moron.
media. It's pretty telling. But even in Canadian media, they will black out certain aspects. So let me just give you the short end of it. The shooter is a communist. Right? He's a communist who's also a black pillar. So
Oh, really? That sucks.
Incel. They'll try and say he's part
Yeah,
of
my
try and say he's part of the manosphere. This person is a communist. He is a
my
Marxist.
pops has been in the hospital quite a bit lately too.
He argues that male
Breathing.
romance,
He's got the
romance,
emphysemas.
motivation are the byproducts of capitalism. So let me read this to you. He says, put it quite simply, capitalism is a system based on the continual profit of a select few people who are the bourgeois class, and it was ultimately the case that the widespread practice of monogamy simply proved to be less monetarily profitable for the bourgeois.
Pull right out in front of me there.
So he's a communist, he's a Marxist. Okay.
Government vehicles.
Then this idea of blackpilling of people who are anti-woman, not people who believe in complementary gender roles, not people who believe in the nuclear family.
Oh yeah. No, I love the VA hospital I go to, man.
But people who become
a lot of them are from U of M. They come right over.
Both the left and the right. That's not a political issue. What is a political issue is radical Marxism, communism, that is distinctly left. You will find plenty of people on the left and the right.
The cop roll right up on my butt there.
Misogynist, whatever.
So they'll
You ain't gonna do nothing about this car in front of me that just pulled out in front of me for no reason.
Here's some of many rights.
They got government plates.
It's very reflective of a lot of these
State vehicle, it says.
There's nothing you can do about it, right? Our big gripe with the left has always been there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It must be some cabal of people. It's the government out there. There's nothing you can do. You can't work harder. There's no way to improve your circumstance. You need a bailout. You need some kind of a grant. Now you see that on the right. They have a different booking. And these people are not on the right. It could be Israel. It could be Epstein. Could be Elon Musk.
Turned off as soon as I turned off.
There aren't legitimate gripes with all those people, but it comes down to there's nothing you can do to improve your circumstances.
Let's get some Taco Bell.
That's why the Marxist right. That's where the horseshoe.
It's going to disconnect. For some reason, it's only connecting with it plugged in, so it's going to shut off.
Questions required.
4 years into my business, one of my employees blew up the laundromat. Exploded it. The fire marshal said it was my fault, and the police agreed. I had $250 in the checkbook and a $25,000 fine on my desk. Perfect. Just another normal day in small business. Mike Capel here, Patriot Software's founder. Entrepreneurs survive disasters that would make most people quit. For accounting and payroll that won't self-destruct, go to patriotsoftware.com.
This is going to sound strange. You're not yourself. It's not just stress. It's not even just in your head. There's a physical reason you feel stuck. And we're seeing the same patterns in dogs, even horses, because this isn't about your thoughts. It's about your nervous system. I'm Mark Fox. I was a space shuttle chief engineer. You're not broken. That's why I wrote Go Find Joy. It became an Amazon bestseller in 3 different categories. Get it free at gofindjoy.com.
Do you need emergency cash now? Then you need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com can help you get up to $5,000 fast. If you need cash for bills, car repairs, rent, a vacation, or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Millions of Americans have trusted WeFixMoney.com. Go to the site that you can trust. WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 100 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Get ready to succeed again with our affordable online programs. Classes start soon. Learn more at ungc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125. Sovereignty versus globalism. It's simple. We win, they lose. This is the David Webb Show.
Look, I say it often, and I remind you, there's a difference between, the sexy topics and the ones that are important at times. And sometimes they overlap. But if you're not paying attention to the strategy of the hardened left, in this case, think about the Working Families Party, which I've talked about for years, now operating in 27 states. The Democratic Socialists of America, and the Justice Democrats. That's another group, right? What do they want? What do they offer, and what do they want? They want control. The DSA says we want to get rid of the 2-party system. Well, what do they want to replace it with? 1-party rule. It's not me saying this; it's them saying this. Because if you destroy the Republican and Democrat Party, and they pretty much destroyed the Democrat Party, when you look at who's really the messengers, who's in charge, what's driving the narrative, and I know once in a while somebody pops up and goes, really, that's not us. Well, you're not the one that's growing and infesting your party. You're the one that's being infested and pushed out. Before you know it, you wake up one day and you're like, what? used to be pro-life Democrats in the Democrat Party. Anybody remember Bart Stupak? I knew Bart. Actually, Bart had been on the show a number of times. Pro-life Democrat. Well, I don't know where he is now. It's been years, but they soundly kicked him out. He didn't reflect the change in the party. Diversity? No, that's not going to happen. Darren in Michigan, 86695-PATRIOT. Go ahead. Hello, Darren.
Yeah, this is Dan in Michigan.
All right, I got you, man. Go ahead.
All right. My question is, even though with the fraud and everything that's going on and the subpoenas and the indictments, how many of these people are under diplomatic immunity, and even though they're charged, they may not be brought to justice?
I get what you're getting at. They're not under diplomatic immunity. There's not a political immunity. And in the case of any criminal activity, there's not even any cover under qualified immunity, which is what we really should be talking about here. So the politicians, bureaucrats, especially at the state level, because that's where we're finding a lot of this, they don't have immunity. No one has immunity when it comes to criminal.
Those kids are slow as fuck in there. Fucking retarded, man.
Political ideas and policies, and then where they were complicit in fraud. Let's use Minneapolis as an example. If they're able to tie, I will say if, because, I'm not real con, I don't libel people. If they're able to prove specific actions by Peggy Flanagan, the lieutenant governor, Tim Walz, the governor, Keith Ellison, the attorney general, then they can be charged. And a lot of times,
thanks, buddy,
RICO is brought up. And that is one approach. Federal RICO and state RICO exists. And I think it's more likely, Darren, that's where you'll see some of these charges.
Okay. Thank you very much, David. I wasn't sure, and that's just been running around in my head. One of these days, I'd like to discuss with you the people who have given up their U.S. citizenship and become sovereigns. Are you aware of what I'm speaking of?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. How come all the ones that say they're going to leave never do? Well, okay, Rosie left, but now she wants to come back.
Right. Because I personally had sent in the affidavits to and renounced my U.S. citizenship. So therefore, I am a sovereign, but I'm not a U.S. citizen. So since I'm not a U.S. citizen,
something else. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Since I'm not a U.S. citizen, am I entitled to all the rights as all the other non-citizens?
Look at this guy. Ooh.
No, you got me on that one. I was thinking something else, and so my confusion there, but I have to look it up. Maybe I was thinking I have to look it up.
All right. Thank you, David, very much for taking my call. I appreciate it greatly.
All right, man. Anytime. You got me on level. 866-95-PATRIOT 957-2874. I mentioned Rokana earlier, and I didn't want to just leave this. Did not want to just leave this out there. Chris Van Hollen, Rokana, who apparently is now going to find himself, or will likely find himself, facing a lawsuit. By the way, it goes a bit back to the accountability, right? When will people be punished? When will they be held accountable? Donald Trump broke the mold on that by saying, if you libel or slander me and claim, oh, he's a public figure, you actually don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. I don't get to libel and slander you. I have a microphone. I'm supposed to be able to say, I have a responsibility not to break the law. Right? That they can get me in trouble, they can get the company in trouble. The company doesn't take action if I break the law, etc. But here's one of the ways. Here's what is the latest, and I wonder, and I hope Elon takes this test. He certainly has the money, but takes this test to court. Here's Chris Van Hollen and Ro Khanna. Can we give up his citizenship? Give up your citizenship and just get out. Just leave. I won't miss you. Nobody will miss you. You know what he looks like? He looks like that. Looks to me, he comes across, not just looks like, not visually, but comes across as that one idiot uncle that nobody wants at the family dinners. That's what Ro Khanna just thinks of. Chris Van Hollen looks like the one you want to punch. I don't want to punch him. I'm not suggesting violence. Okay, I'm a violent person at times. Play cut 9 to break.
Have you seen reports from The Lancet and others that show the death toll that has been resulting from the cuts to USAID? Are you aware of the fact that the Lancet Medical Journal indicated that if current foreign aid funding trends continue, an additional 9.4 million people will die by 2030, including 2.5 million children? Have you seen that report?
And I do believe that once we take power, there has to be accountability. There needs to be accountability for Elon Musk. You know, they're celebrating that he created 4,400 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children around the world who he possibly sentenced to death by dismantling USA. But he needs to answer for that. He needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to face investigation. He needs to answer for what he did with the Doge.
I really want to see this lawsuit happen. I really do. By the way, this quote Lancet report came out it was about a month ago. On child and adolescent effects of, pulling back, giving away American taxpayer dollars. People died. Will die, are going to die. I don't know. Pick your tense, your verb there. I'm sorry. I'm not. That's kind of a sarcasm. Okay, this is my Andrew Wilkie moment. I have the same moment, but I'm going to give him a hat tip since he's coming up next. Where in the Constitution does it say that you get to take American taxpayer dollars and give it away to other world citizens? Anthony, was that pretty good, Andrew? I like pretty good, Andrew. I think it wasn't bad. Our voices are clearly different. And maybe my tone was close. You're right. Little Andrew, I was going little Andrew. Where in the Constitution you share an office with somebody for 15 years now, something like that? You get to know each other. All right, 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. I've got some closing thoughts. A few more things I want to share with you. And then I'm going to hand it off to Andrew. I don't do a great Andrew Wilkie. Okay? I don't. We share a studio, share an office. I don't do a great Andrew Wilkie. But we share great ideas. 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. Now, how many of you have heard this? Stop me if you've heard it, but you can't. You can't stop me. People talking about weight loss injections and the dramatic results. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight, not interested in weekly injections, painful injections, especially when you hear about some of the intense side effects? So, doctors came up with a solution. They created a weight loss supplement called Lean, L-E-A-N, Lean, and the results, remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. Now, Lean's not for the casual dieter out there with just a few pounds, 2-3 pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition crafted Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Now, I'm not frustrated. I'm not a dieter. but I do want to shed and trim down my fighting weight by about 10 to 15. So I said, okay, guys, we had the call. I will try this program to go along with my exercise and all the other things and my workouts. And you know what? I'm about getting close to 2 weeks into it. Down a notch on the belt, trimming out those last difficult pounds to take off. So I got to give them a shout out and say, hey, it's working. It is.
Ooh, an
I
electric
tell you, if
Mustang.
you're like me, you want to trim, get your fighting weight. Not ready to take on Tyson any moment now. Let me help you get started with 20% off and free rush shipping. So you can add it to your healthy diet and do it for yourself and your exercise plan. You got to put them together. Visit TakeLean.com and enter WEB for your discount. That's promo code WEB, 2 B's, W-E-B-B, at TakeLean.com.
The 2026 NBA Draft could transform the league.
This NBA Draft is incredibly deep. Definitely the deepest in my mind since 2017.
Hear every franchise-shaping decision on SiriusXM. Listen to NBA Radio for interviews with the top prospects and analysis throughout the week.
This is where your GM makes his money.
Then, tonight and tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Hear every selection of the NBA Draft on Channel 86 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331. 800-848-1331.
Hey, Tim, what's wrong?
Somebody brake checked our truck. Their claims chaser attorney thinks his neck needs $50,000 to feel better.
And?
Now I have to go to court, negotiate with insurance.
No way, Tim. We have Samsara now. Dual-facing AI dash cams give us clear video, and instant retrieval means we can pull footage fast before they change the story.
So instead of ruining my quarter,
you just send the footage to legal.
Visit samsara.com/today to reduce risk and stop false claims with clear evidence.
Now is the time to visit Pinehurst Resort, the cradle of American golf. Pinehurst is more than famed #2, an anchor site of the U.S. Open. It is Tom Doak's masterful #10. 4 historic hotels and the newly built luxury cottages at Pinehurst #8, the one-of-a-kind Titleist shop at Pinehurst, and the new Peter Millar shop. A trio of dynamic dining experiences in Station 21, Plate, and the newly opened Wirecrafts. Pinehurst blends timeless charm with the very best in the game today. Visit Pinehurst.com to plan your stay.
Hi, this is professional golfer Mark O'Mara. When it came to building my personal putting green, I called Celebrity Greens, the leader in customized synthetic golf greens. Celebrity Greens designed an amazing backyard green for me and a synthetic lawn area for my dogs that looks and acts just like natural grass. You can't beat Celebrity Greens' attention to detail and exceptional customer service. Learn how to create a championship putting green in your own backyard. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens, 1-888-507-7960, or visit them online at celebritygreens.com.
David Webb on the juggernaut of conservative talk. This is SiriusXM PhD 125.
For today's closing thoughts, I'll go back to where I started. And of course, what is today? Primary day. Maryland, New York, Utah, South Carolina. 29 people from that call that called earlier this week. 29 people at 10 a.m. Oh, what are you people doing out there? Low voter turnout's a problem. But let's just go back to the beginning and wrap this together. We covered a lot, covered a wide range of things, including even a debate over a debate in Florida. But the quote promises being made, the promises of the left, promises of the Democratic Socialists of America, the Justice Democrats, the Working Families Party, the Zora Mamdani is in the news today as, you know, you often hear about the president's influence on an election. Any president, Obama, left, right, doesn't matter. Now, apparently, Zora Mamdani has been elevated to the level of having an influence. Maybe he does. Will New York have, Valdez, Chevalier, and Lander, three left-wing socialists, you know, win their primaries and go on to run in the general election? We will see. We will see. But they're clearly on the march, the long march, the short march, the march. They're on the march. But what have they ever delivered? See, the socialists, the communists, the whatever, the good sounding people who promise you equity and inclusion and everybody gets a piece of the pie, and they can never prove and they can never demonstrate, prove, or deliver a long-term successful society under socialism. Come on. With the trolls out there, find it for me. Let me see. Soviet Union failed. Cambodia, no communists, failing. Cuba failed, failing, still killing people. Venezuela failure. China, spectacular failure that is playing out before our eyes. But about 1 billion people under the roof, more around the world affected by it. Where have they delivered? Whether it lasts for 20, 30, 40, 50. In China's case, you know, we're dealing with the second centenary. But yet, if you run the economic equation, and if we stop propping China up in the West, their fall will be spectacularly deadly and dangerous. Why? Because we've seen this play before. The Soviet Union collapsed under its own eyes. Mao starved tens of millions. They murdered babies in the womb, one-child policy. They're now paying the price for that, but they'll find another way to write that off into something else. And Venezuela, which is now on a trajectory to better, a country that went from richest in Latin America to humanitarian disaster in one generation. In fact, did it even take a full generation? Chavez to Maduro? No matter what it is, socialism at any scale fails. The outcome, poverty, tyranny, so much more, death. I mean, it's a ideological approach that has never been proven to work. You know, the old, well, this time it'll work. Just because they have more money to steal from the people under the guise of helping the people, so it might last a little bit longer before it completely collapses, doesn't mean it's not going to collapse. And it's not ancient history, it's playing out right now in America. So for the 29 people who showed up was it in Aiken, South Carolina, who voted at 10 a.m. or by 10 a.m., hopefully more have shown up till 7 p.m. You can vote your way into it, but think of how many societies have had to shoot their way out of it. That's just the reality of it. So whether you're in Maryland, North Dakota, South Carolina, New York State, you don't have to believe David Webb. You don't have to believe me. A third-person reference. You don't have to believe me. Just find me the one that worked or is working. And by that, I don't mean, oh, it's still there. It's still there doesn't mean it's working. It's working means things are advancing. People are doing better. There aren't empty cities. There aren't groups being targeted, whether it's the Uyghurs in China, the Muslims, blacks. Blacks don't get treated well in China. And by the way, communism doesn't have a color. It's just, are you a communist or not? Just like Islamism doesn't have a color. It's, are you one of them or one of the ones that should be killed? And red, green, here comes the blue. And this is how power shifts in America. So, yeah, New York. Part of me says, okay, go ahead, elect, vote those socialists in. And in May, vote the communazi Graham Plattner. I don't want him in office, just he's already won the primary. But he didn't do this without your votes. What was that, 154,000 votes, give or take, for Plattner?
Welcome to McDonald's. Will you be
I
using
didn't
your
know.
mobile app to order one of our new snack wraps today? Go ahead when you're ready. Hi, what can I do for you?
They have a mobile order JA85 for Norm.
All right, Norm, you're good to go ahead and pull forward.
And what's referred to as the unenrolled. I think Mainers need to look at their neighbors. Did you vote for Graham Plattner? Yeah. Are you stupid? Are you willing to ignore the mess that this guy is? And if so, why? Well, my only choice was he was the only Democrat that was running because Janet Mills dropped out. Fantastic. So if somebody's committing mass murder, but they're the only one around, do you go ahead and join in? I'm not saying he's committing mass murder. That's probably not a good analogy. Couldn't think of one off the ground. If your friends jump off, when you're a kid, if your friends jump off the cliff, are you going to do it too? No. Here's why. Jumping off the cliff's a bad idea. There's gravity. But 154,000 people, hopefully all citizens, but who knows, 154,000 or so people in Maine pushed the button, rolled it, whatever, mailed it in for Graham Plattner. Seriously. You're the problem. The candidates running.
Thank you.
That needs to happen. It's not just a political ranking between the parties. It's really the people because, at least in our country, until if they were successful, the not who votes but who counts the votes kind of socialist or communist approach. The fact is, we make the choice. It's still in our hands. It's still our choice.
Have a great day.
Only if, as I said earlier on the show, if we vote right and fight for it, and you can vote your way into socialism, history does demonstrate that you have to shoot your way out. In some form, violence on the way out is part of it. Because they won't surrender power. Why would they? 4 states, 4 primaries. I'll check in on the Supreme Court for tomorrow's show, as I said to an earlier time. Andrew Wilkow's next. He whose arguments cannot be broken.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. Brian was a planner. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. Brian and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. When I realized the policy was there, I felt relief. Life insurance helped me focus on healing. I could really focus on my kids and myself and trying to pick up a lot of the pieces of a world that was very broken at the time. He really provided for our family in life and also after his death. So I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same day coverage. You can get up to $3 million worth of coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/apply. That's ethos.com/apply. Ethos.com/apply. Pay testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The older you get, the more things change, especially with your body. From pregnancies and slower workout recoveries to sore backs and other health issues. That's why you need a Sleep Number smart bed. It was designed to last 25 years and to support your body through all its changes over all those years. You can adjust your own firmness or softness, making it a great bed for couples. And the bed contours to your body movements while you sleep, so you sleep comfortably and restfully all night long. If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt to your comfort. You can find Sleep Number smart beds exclusively at your local Sleep Number store or at sleepnumber.com. Right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. Visit a Sleep Number store near you or learn more at sleepnumber.com. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. So often, big tech companies spreading from Asia right back to the U.S. today, and that's pulling stock values lower on Wall Street as well. For the most part, growing likelihood of interest rate hikes coming later this year. That's not doing much for investor enthusiasm. It's helped to deflate what had been a massive run-up in AI-related stocks in recent days. As traders worried that the higher rates could hamper economic growth. Now, right now, it is a mixed bag. The Dow back into positive territory. It's up 25 points. The UN agency says a plan is underway to evacuate 11,000 stranded seafarers through the Strait of Hormuz. They're part of the backlog ever since the war with Iran began. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry says no visit has been scheduled for UN inspectors to visit Iran's bombed-out nuclear sites.
The sites in question are those earlier bombed by the US. At a news conference in Tehran, Badawi's remarks appear to cut against those made by US Vice President J.D. Vance, who said negotiations in Switzerland won an agreement for the IAEA to visit Iranian sites. The IAEA has been in and out of Iran since Israel's 12-day war against Iran in 2025, but has not been granted access to the bombed enrichment sites targeted by America in that war. I'm Charles Phillips.
The Pentagon telling senators it needs roughly $80 billion to help cover the war in Iran. The White House Office of Management and Budget is yet to make a formal request to Congress, but Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been making the rounds on Capitol Hill. A top deputy defense secretary told senators about the Iran funding request last week. Some lawmakers were skeptical of the deal President Donald Trump struck with Iran to end the war and wary of the next steps. The White House has requested a remarkable $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon.
War Secretary.
50% increase over the current fiscal year's funding levels. Bernie Bennett, Washington. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime, and you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Here's Rich Thomason now with the midday Wall Street Business Report. Wall Street opened lower this morning with tech shares especially hard hit. A slump in SpaceX stock prompted the tech sell-off. SpaceX trades on the NASDAQ, which has suffered heavy losses for days, as investors also grow anxious over massive spending by artificial intelligence companies. A likely interest rate hike by the Fed later this year is also weighing on the equities markets. Chip companies are among the biggest losers in the early going, with Micron.
Why is there going to be a hike from the Fed?
More than 7%. Qualcomm fell 6.3%. Data storage companies were also down big time. Oil prices and bond yields held steady overnight. Economists are predicting that a measure of inflation for U.S. consumers due out Thursday from the government rose to 4.1% in May, up from 3.8% in April. The Wall Street Business Report. I'm Rich Thomason. For breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
Fusion of rational thought and political analysis. This is what your brain has been waiting for. News, politics, and issues. Enhance. Just join the Will Count Majority.
Your generation of great talk radio. The founder of the new school. That's me, Andrew Wilcox, 36 at Patriot. Phone lines, as always. 2695 Patriot 9572874. The email, spell my name right, WILKOW, at WillCountMajority.com. Individual Patriot first, conservative second, Republican third. And working every single day to make this the most popular program offered by Sirius XM Radio, because it's based on one thing and one thing only, and that is rational thought. So welcome to the Will Count Majority. I'm Will Count. Yeah, we'll take some time to get into the Iran deal as it progresses, but I'm noticing something on all sides. Jumping up and down, throwing oneself on the floor with no actual specifics. Well, this was leaked. The Wall Street Journal said this, and the talks are ongoing. If the deal is bad, believe me, I would say this deal is bad. I don't think the president would. But we have people on all sides. It's terrible. It's great. Israel's winning. Israel's losing. We're talking about a memorandum of parties to a negotiating deal. In mass that would demonstrate anti-Semitism. Now look at the current state of affairs in the Democratic Party. Mamdani, El Said, Hamawi, and others. The party leadership cannot control the anti-Israel / anti-Semitic streak that's coming through, or anti-Jewish streak. You can say, Andrew, come on, it's not fair. You can criticize the government of Israel because they're a foreign nation, and if their government is doing things, we should criticize them. That's entirely true. But we also know it's the most convenient cover. When you want to be more public with your hatred of the Jews, I would love somebody to explain how Tim Walz was a better pick than Roy Cooper, Andy Bashir, and Josh Shapiro. Right? You had 3 governors: Pennsylvania, Kentucky, North Carolina. Did Democrats need a big win in Bashir? We're like, I don't know, this feels like a sinking ship. But Shapiro is a Democrat who got elected, yes, blue cities, but largely red states. Pro-gun. But they didn't want a Jew on the ticket. Now, he'll never fully admit that. But he's out there saying the Democrats are the party of real freedoms. And some of the stuff that's coming down in front of me here, this Chevalier, Daria Lisa Avia Chevalier, is literally on record time and time again saying that nobody should be deported for any reason. Child molestation, violent rape, murder, gang activity. And I don't see any Democrats saying that's a line too far. And all eyes are on New York City. The Knicks just won the national title. A Democratic Socialist won the mayor's race. All eyes are on New York City. And I don't see Democrats saying, all right, look, we should have a comprehensive immigration reform and a pathway to citizenship, but we shouldn't be letting child molesters that have been tried and convicted back on the streets. Nobody's pushing back on this. Nobody's pushing back. And then you have the Democrats now who are talking about so-called one-time wealth taxes. Does anybody out there, really, even if you're well-to-do, even if you are beyond the everyman king and every woman queen, you're well-to-do. I mean, you're really well-to-do. You're very comfortable. You're not stressing how you're gonna. You haven't even thought that your kids should not go to college, right? You never said to your son, "Well, maybe you should look at trade schools." It's 100% that you expect your kids to go to college, and they're not going to have student loans. You live in a very wealthy community, but you're not the mega rich, right? You're not a billionaire. You don't have $250 million in net worth, but you're really well off. by the standard of most people. Maybe you've got a really high pay. You're a doctor. You work for a prestigious law firm, right? You're definitely white collar. You're not blue collar. You're not rich from owning a plumbing contracting firm or a construction company or anything like that. You're definitely solidly white collar at the tippy top of the upper middle class. And you think, well, they're not talking about me. They're talking about Elon Musk. They're not talking about me. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Does anybody truly believe that once the sharks of the Democrat Party get a taste of that blood in the water, they won't become instantly addicted to it? 5% one time on Elon Musk, forgetting the fact that the Constitution forbids passing a law to target a specific person. One time, 5%. And all of child care is going to be paid for. Health care paid for. College tuition, college loan, student loan debt forgiven. Because you got 5% of Elon Musk's net worth. What about next year? People will still need health care next year. They'll still need child care next year. There'll be students who run into debt next year. What about next year? Well, then that ought to be the proof positive that it won't be one time. It'll become annual. And they say, wait a second. Most people in this country are not. I mean, there's only one trillionaire. What about billionaires? Well, most people aren't billionaires. What about 100 millionaires? Most people aren't 100 millionaires. What about 5 million? Most people don't have 5 million in the bank. 5 million net worth. They don't have that. You know who has that? That wishy-washy, way upper middle class, white collar, suburban doctor, lawyer, whatever the profession. That's where they're going to lower the boom very quickly. Now, I know that's probably a small percentage of this audience. I'm just saying that that's going to come down from a one-time 5% on a trillionaire. It's going to hit the upper middle class like an asteroid, because they're not going to stop. You got Ro Khanna out there running around screaming and yelling about Elon Musk. The guy's worth $250 million. Now, because power is sometimes better than wealth. If you said, well, Ro Khanna, why don't you pay that? He'd probably say, okay. And then figure out a way to use his position in government to make up the losses. 1-695 Patriot 957-2874. So if you think they're going to stop there while the Democratic Socialists are literally consuming the Democratic Party whole, you're out of your mind. Again, when you say net worth, the government will make you as rich as you need to be for those added taxes. Now, look, I could be talking about some of the stupid stuff that's on social media. You know, Joy Reid's out there like, no black people I know are celebrating the 4th of July. Well, I don't know how many people you know, but I bet you there are going to be a lot of black Americans celebrating the 4th of July. 250th anniversary of the birth, not Birth of a Nation, the movie, from the greatest country on earth. That where no matter how bad you think it is to be here, if given the choice, you probably wouldn't choose anywhere else. If you think you're African American, you're better off in Africa, lots of people tried that, turned out they weren't better off. Many people of Irish descent or Italian descent, or those who may have been going all the way back to English colonists, you might go to Europe right now and be like, whoa, wait a second. This is not what I signed up for. I don't see any people running back across the southern border. You don't see Americans of Mexican descent running back to Mexico. Actually, it's quite the opposite. They're trying to bring everybody here. Nobody leaves a good country. You don't see anybody saying, well, you know what, America really is this terrible, awful place founded on slavery. We got to get the hell out of here before it's too late. Again, that's why I have the thought experiment of Fortress America. You're either in or you're out. You're either in 100% or you're out. That means no foreign flags. That means if you're wearing a foreign jersey during the girly sport of the World Cup, you got to get out. Tourists are fine, but if you're an American, you're going home to wherever that is. It's a thought experiment. I don't see. It's so funny. This is one of the few countries where people have fled another country and will wear the jersey of that country they fled and root for that team, but don't want to be there. Isn't that amazing? You have people that have come to this country from all around the world and built a life they could never build in their home country. Ask any African immigrant. I'm not talking about an American descendant of slavery. I'm talking about an African immigrant. And say, could you have built the life that you've built here, there? They would say no, or else they wouldn't have come here. You ask any legal, lawful immigrant, could you have built this life for yourself in India? Could you have built this life for yourself in Mexico? Could you have built this life for yourself wherever it is you came from or your parents came from? And the answer is likely no. Let me ask you something. Zoran Mamdani, do you think he'd be the mayor of Kuala Lumpur at 34 years old? Not likely. Not likely. You have people in this country that have built by the standard of global quality of life, built a life here that is absolutely amazing and would be the envy of 90% of the world. But they will put on that foreign jersey and cheer for that team above and beyond the United States. Then get the hell out. And I say that across the board. I don't care if it's Canada. I don't care if it's Ireland. I don't care if it's Italy. If you are cheering on Spain, then go back to Spain. That's ignorant and bigoted. How? How? As we approach the 250th anniversary of the country you chose to call home, why are you wearing the jersey of the country you did everything in your power to not reside in? Why is it 695 Patriot 957-2874? Think about this. People in the country illegally are probably spending money, because they're all poor working in the shadows, buying the jerseys of the nations they didn't want to live in, but didn't want to follow our laws to enter our country, so they're going to root for that country. I get it if somebody comes here. We're all kind of having a good laugh at the Norwegians, right? They're doing these like Viking boat rows in the bleachers of Times Square. They love being Norwegian. They're here to cheer on their team, and then they're going home to Norway. But I'm talking about people in this country, legally and illegally, who are pulling for a foreign team from a country they did everything in their power not to live in. And if Joy Reid wants to run around, we didn't even pull the clip, it's so stupid. If she wants to run around, look, what you're seeing on social media is not the real world. Okay, people are trying to carve out all kinds of lanes in the Twitterverse and in the YouTubeverse, just saying absurd, stupid things, trying to get whatever little audience will buy into it. But the reality is, there's no better place on planet Earth to be black than in the United States of America. Period. End of story. And I'm not talking about being
Drive north, then turn
in an African nation. I'm talking about being a regular person, which ask an average Haitian. Go down to Miami. Go to Little Haiti. Would you rather be here or Haiti? They'd rather be here. Because Haiti's horrible. It's a horrible place. It's an S-hole. And they know it, or else they wouldn't be trying so desperately to get here. If your family came here from Jamaica, what was your life going to be as an average Jamaican? Probably not very good. This is the place where you can make anything of yourself. That's why when I used to listen to like Lauryn Hill and will.i.am and all them all complaining about America, okay, go back to Haiti then. Let's see if the Fugees or the Black Eyed Peas or whatever it is would be. You can make that life here. That's why I say Tom Morello is my favorite capitalist. He's my favorite capitalist. All of these people that get rich by being anti-American could never get rich by being anti the country they're from. Why it's a 695 Patriot 957-2874? You would have gotten nowhere for the most part. Why do you think we have all these scams of people sending food and other sundry items to the Dominican Republic? Because to the average person, that stuff's out of reach there. What you and I take for granted. What you and I take for granted, that's how you know we're dealing with the most spoiled, privileged, barat population. Not the whole country. I'm talking about this group of people that have had their lives lived so easily. So easily. It's like, when somebody makes fun, Michelle Obama's a man. Oh my God. Yeah, in parts of Africa, women are gang raped, their breasts are lopped off, their children are murdered right in front of them during ethnic cleansing. Having someone tell a bad, if the worst thing you face in life is somebody making fun of you, you have won humanity's lottery. All right, I went a little long here. We are right. They are wrong. That is the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot, will never be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.
Summer is here. And the good vibrations are in full swing on the Beach Boys channel. Sun-soaked songs for a limited time, filled with harmonies. And the stories behind them. Good vibrations. The Beach Boys channel is happening now on the Sirius XM app.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow. Invoices were late. And payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lenseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at LENDSEEK.com.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good night's sleep.
Ready for a bathroom upgrade that won't disrupt your life? Jacuzzi Bath Remodel is here to help. Take the stress out of renovations with quick professional service from the name America trusts. Affordable, stunning selection of tubs and showers, each designed with style, safety, and your budget in mind. With customizable features like grab bars and seats, your new bath or shower will meet your entire family's needs.
I absolutely love my new bathroom. It's very hard to believe that they get done in one day. Jacuzzi really outdid themselves.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-561-3386. That's 800-561-3386. 800-561-3386. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. I'd like to tell you about Perillo Collision. The Perillo Collision staff are trained and insured to repair Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghinis, or any other high-end luxury vehicles. We service accidents from all over the country. Maintain your luxury vehicle's warranty with our professional team. Visit JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo. And click on Perillo Collision or call us at 312 BMW 1111.
Mark Levin. As we moved into the constitutional period, the most important philosopher was Montesquieu, and he emphasized separation of powers. And he specifically talks about a judicial, that is judiciary, an executive, the president, and a legislature, of course, Congress. These are great men. They did great things. And in the Revolutionary War, we lost more battles than we won, but we won the battles we had to win 250 years ago.
The Mark Levin Show, weekdays starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM Patriots. Freedom never gets old.
Conan here. Whether you're stuck in the car on a long road trip or lounging by the pool this summer, Conan O'Brien Radio Channel 104 got you covered. Each week, you get a brand new episode of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, highlights from my many years of late night, and a whole slate of shows like the Andy Richter Call-In Show live. So kick your summer into high gear with Conan O'Brien Radio, Channel 104, right here on SiriusXM, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Previously on the Will Count Majority.
The United States endlessly imports poor people on top of the poor people we already have. Then Democrats in turn claim the only way to alleviate poverty is to endlessly redistribute wealth. Nobody has an obligation to pay more in taxes because the government allowed millions of people to cross the border.
Past episodes of the Will Count Majority on the SiriusXM app.
You're listening to the Will Count Majority with Andrew Will Count. He's all talk.
Who's not happy about the 250th anniversary of this country? People who hate it. I mentioned, I said I didn't send the clip in, but I quickly found it just for the purposes I referenced it. Let's play. You have that Joy Reid clip? All right, let's play that.
Because in many ways, and with apologies to my dear spicy white friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love the 4th of July. It is Independence Day, everybody's barbecuing, it's a thing. I can promise you, black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But black people, nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their slave empire. And that is what it is. Because
what is so stupid about this is you would have to believe the nonsense of Project 1619, which it is. It's nonsense. Okay? And just because there are so-called black academics out there that promote this stuff doesn't mean it's real. Slavery was a global condition. As unfortunate, as inhumane, as terrible as that is, it was in fact a global condition. The United States was not founded on it. It was not predicated on it. It was just the institution that was there at the time. And one of the amazing things, and it's more specific to white progressives, well, I would have fought against slavery. Really? That's easy to say. It's always easy to say, in hindsight, that you would have done the right thing. Because you didn't actually have to live through it, one way or the other. You weren't there. It's kind of like when people claim an artist
from a previous generation. Well, I don't like today's stuff. I mean, I like Tom Petty, I like Billy Joel, yeah, but you weren't in the clubs. You weren't buying the records at those crucial junctures when the time decided whether or not those people would go on to become historical figures or not. You're just easily claiming what another generation set up for you. Right? Have you ever dealt with someone like that who's just very snobbish about their tastes and whatever it is? You know, I mean, my God, I mean, like, there's nothing like Rush today. Yeah, but where were you? Well, I was born in 1992. Okay, so you weren't there for Power Windows or any of those things. You weren't there for Signals, right? You weren't there for that. No, look, you can listen to whatever you want, but don't pretend you're the reason why these bands are legendary. Don't tell me that you know you would have been on the right side of history. Don't tell me you know this because it's not possible. And if you read what many of the founders believed, they didn't believe in slavery. John Adams had a deep disagreement with slavery. And slavery ended in what could only be described as the spilling of white people's blood on both sides. And the majority of Confederate soldiers, by the way, I don't know if you learned this in government-run education, the majority of Confederate soldiers didn't own slaves themselves. Okay, the slave-holding population were the aristocracy of the time. It was not the average Southern white person. But we had a very bloody war that ended the institution of slavery in this country. And if we didn't have a Democrat Party, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and segregation may have never happened. Hey, Joy, I got a question for you. Of all the presidents throughout the history of this country, which was the first to institute segregation? I bet most people don't know the answer to that question. Who was the first president to institutionalize segregation in this country? It was Woodrow Wilson. It was Woodrow Wilson, a great-grandfather of the American Progressive Movement. Started with the post office, by the way. Now, I'm not saying, look, Harry Truman, we desegregated the army, the military. But it's almost like we were just, for lack of a better word, whitewash the true history of this country. But I would like Joy Reid or anyone else on the left to tell me, where is it better in this world for the average black citizen of a foreign nation? Average. Not the establishment, not the elite, not the TV people, not university professors. I'm just talking run-of-the-mill people. Where is it better? The answer is right here. The problem is we have allowed the absolute unbridled corruption of our government-run education system. We have allowed people who hate this country to literally be the biggest influence on the minds of young people. Because 90% of the population sends their children to government-run education facilities. Why? Because they can't afford to pay the taxes and then go elsewhere. Which is funny because Joy Reid's life's been so hard, she went to Harvard. She had such a horrible life that she went to Harvard. Right? I'm sorry. The world's been really bad to you. 1-665 Patriot 957-2874. Where else on earth could a person of a numeric racial minority rise to the heights of society the way Black Americans have in the United States? Is there a foreign nation that I don't know of that has a white majority that elected a Black president? I can't think of one. Where you have blacks in the cultural elite, the business elite, the military elite, the governing elite. There's no institution, there is no avenue, there is no office in the United States that has not been held by a Black American. And yet Joy Reid wants you to think that the majority of Black people in this country have had it so bad they couldn't possibly love the country as much as their white neighbors. Well, maybe those people do exist. I don't know. Maybe not in my naive little bubble. Just high-fived Webb on the way out the door, or the way in the door for me. I know one of my best friends in this business, Stacy Washington, will be having the time of her life with her family and her friends. I'm sure Joy Reid represents some segment of the population. I just don't know any of them. I can't imagine being that miserable. Even in the worst of times, Americans have it better than just about any other country. And you know what separates us from the likes of Germany, the UK, France, Spain, and probably much of Italy? Is mobility. For better or for worse, free market capitalism creates mobility. In other nations, you have rigidity. You have a class system. People are born into a class. They raise their children in that class. They die in that class. Their children raise their children in that class. They too die in that class, and the cycle repeats. We have people that rise on the economic ladder, and we have people that fall right the hell off of it. You take a guy like Hunter Biden. The guy was given every advantage in life. Born to the son of a senator. Not somebody that came into the Senate and left the Senate. A man whose entire career was first senator, vice president, president. Given the most advantageous life that many of us, including myself, could only dream of. And he's still an F-up. He's an absolute F-up as a human being. If he was not Joe Biden's son, he'd be face down in the gutter. Or in jail, or where, but he wouldn't be selling his art for $500,000. Why the 695 Patriot 9572874? I don't know. I could spend all day on how much I love this country and why I love this country. Why I believe in its borders. I believe in its sovereignty. I believe in its founding document. The people who hate the Constitution don't understand that. That includes people that walked out of the Kennedy School of Government. They said, okay, well, this thing is a hindrance to what I wanted to do. It doesn't say. Well, we really haven't done much audio except for that clip. Hold on, let me go to the cut sheet. What do we have here? What's that? All right, good. Josh Shapiro is going to tell you that the Democrats are the party of true freedom. Try not to spit your coffee out. I will too. Cut one. I think Democrats are the party of real freedom that allows women to make decisions over their own bodies, allows parents like me and my wife Lori to make decisions over what vaccines our kids are going to be able to get, that they can read the books that they want to read, not have certain ones banned by certain politicians. The point I'm making here is that we can be a pro-freedom party and a pro-growth party, a pro-safety party, a pro-education party. That is what we're doing in Pennsylvania. We're winning in Pennsylvania, and the toughest state in the country to win it. And that is what I think we need to see more of, not just in our party, but all across America. Does that mean that under Democrats, I would be, you're free to vaccinate your children any way you want? Am I free not to vaccinate my children any way I want? Does that mean that if during COVID I said I don't want to take this stuff, I'm not sure about it? Huh? Because I'm old enough to remember when he was the Attorney General and Tom Wolf had a pandemic era shutdown, and he wasn't talking about freedom back then. The Democrats' version of freedom, well, you can't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness unless we take away all your choices and provide you with things. Now you'll be happy. You'll have nothing and you'll like it. That Janis Joplin line, what is it? Freedom is nothing left, having nothing left to lose. Hold on. Janis Joplin, freedom lyrics. What was that line? From me and Bobby McGee. Let's see. Freedom is something like freedom is having nothing left to lose. Yeah, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing. And that's all that Bobby left me. Freedom from making decisions, freedom from taking responsibility, freedom for having to provide for yourself. Sure, yeah, okay. You know what we call that? A pet. A pet. You feed your dog, you feed your cat. Your pet doesn't have to do anything. Now, if you got a working dog, well, still. But you're a pet. If you don't make your own decisions, if from the day you're born to the day you die, the government makes decisions for you, you're not free. How is that freedom? The only freedom they care about is killing your baby or men dressing like women and going into the women's locker room. That's their idea of freedom. Well, I'll transition my child any way I want. All right. I didn't know that child abuse was freedom. I always say this about people like, wow, transitioning my kid is my right. Okay, so if a kid comes to school every day with bruised eyes, cut cheeks, split lip, you said, well, that's just discipline in their household. They're free to do it that way. No, that's child abuse. Abusing your child is abusing your child. They're the party of freedom. They're the party that's like, how do we take as much private property as we can? How do we extract as much taxes as we can and give it to other people? That's not the party of freedom. The party of freedom doesn't say, well, I've decided that you owe this person money. You've made more, they have less. I'm taking it from you and giving it to them. That's freedom. That's tyranny. The Democrats are a tyrannical party. If they had it their way, you wouldn't own a home. The government would decide where you live. The government would run health care. And if it didn't work for you, too bad. You want to know why I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Why progressivism easily flows from the major metropolitan cities. Because the truth is, people in the city have a very different relationship with property. If you live in an apartment in New York City, and you're like, you know what? I want to get out there and, get a little outdoors time. You have to go to a government-funded park to do that. Or you have to pay a private business. But you're not going to have a backyard, not likely. If you want to get somewhere, you're going to be on that subway. I had to ride the subway yesterday. It smelled like warm urine. From the minute I walked down into it to the minute I walked out of it, it smells like piss. It's disgusting. But you're either taking the bus or you're taking the subway. Maybe if you have enough money, you'll take an Uber once in a while, but day to day, you're probably relying on the government. You rely on the government for transportation, for recreation, for a whole host of services. If you live out in the country and you want to throw the football around, you just go outside. You got to get somewhere, you get in your truck and go. Right? What's the response time for a county sheriff in a rural area? Even with their best efforts, you probably have to have a gun. It's a totally different way of life. So the government being everywhere in every aspect of your life is just the way it is in the city. And the further you get from the city, the more that changes. But to sit there and say the Democrat Party is the party of freedom is just absolutely ridiculous. 966-95 Patriot 957-2874. And the fact that they want to use immigration as a weapon to orchestrate a demographic of their choosing. You know, when they're done, where else are you going to go? If the Democrats had their way, if the Democrat socialists had their way, they would turn this country into Venezuela overnight. And they'd be proud of themselves, too. Look, I want you to write this one down. And I'm going to put this on social media and use it some more. Whenever you hear someone say on the left, I'm running for office to make life better, what they mean is their life. What has changed in AOC's district? Nothing. How's it changed for her? Revolutionary. Ilhan Omar. How's her district doing? She's worth $30 million. Zoran Mamdani. How's the city doing? Crappy. How's he doing? Great. So when they talk about affordability and quality of life, what they really mean is vote for me so I can have a better life. Because they sure as hell ain't going to make your life better. Barack Obama, how's the south side of Chicago doing? Now how's he doing? He doesn't even live there anymore. He only sets foot in there to cut the ribbon on his presidential library, but it's back to Martha's Vineyard. He doesn't even want to be around those people. He climbed on their shoulders, stood on their shoulders to elevate himself. When are you going to learn? We are right, they are wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot. Yeah, man. Not a makeover. This is the takeover. This is Usher.
Before his R&B tour takes over the summer, his very own channel is on Sirius XM for Black Music Month.
Legacy is big. Some of my influences and a few surprises for my super fans out there.
Usher Radio.
Now for a limited time on Channel 105 and the Sirius XM app. Included with most subscriptions on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or wherever you stream. Hey, Sean Hannity here. We all know the power that the IRS has, and yes, you know what, it can be scary, but did you know this? The IRS has been putting more and more warnings in their letters like, we may speak to your neighbor, employer, or others if needed. Are you kidding me? Or how about this one? IRS may communicate with all other agencies about your case, such as the Justice Department. And then, of course, if you owe over 50 grand, the IRS may restrict or revoke your passport. Look, when it comes to the IRS, don't mess around and don't try to deal with them on your own. Get the expert help you need today. Call my friends at Rush Tax Resolution now. 800-258-7050. Now, Rush Tax is an A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. So if you owe the IRS personally or you're a business behind on payroll taxes, it's the only company I recommend. Call now, 800-258-7050, 800-258-7050, rushtaxresolution.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Do you have a history of those dreadful calcium oxalate stones? Well, Kidney Cop is here to help. Shown in laboratory testing to reduce the rate of calcium oxalate crystal growth by 99%. Yes, 99%. Don't wait. Start taking Kidney Cop Calcium Oxalate Protector today. That's Kidney Cop, C-O-P, Kidney Cop. Order today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com. That's Amazon, Walmart, or KidneyCop.com.
See website for details. BillsApp.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHeaven.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Results may vary and are not guaranteed. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Text and data rates may apply. Is alcohol affecting your work, health, and relationships? At Choose Your Horizon, we offer a simple, private way to access FDA-approved medication, a daily pill that is proven to reduce alcohol cravings. 86% of patients report drinking less or quitting in just 12 weeks. Find freedom from alcohol with Choose Your Horizon. To get your free same-day doctor consultation, text LIFE to 54504. Again, text LIFE to 54504. Text LIFE to 54504.
Your crazy uncle's favorite radio show, The Will Count Majority.
All right, phone line, 695 Patriot, 957-2874. Let's go to the phones here. Alan, Maryland, you are first up. Go ahead, you evil, heartless bastard.
You're right. I'm an African American. There's no other than my brother, as we said back in the 1980s in hip hop. Okay. For all the African Americans talking about 4th of July, let's understand it's an insult to all the African Americans who served in the military protecting this country. And without the country, there is no Juneteenth. There is no Juneteenth without the country. Imagine without the country, would there be a Juneteenth? No. So this is ludicrous to talk about 4th of July as a bad day. Where did all these African Americans, like Roland Martin, where did you make your money? Did you make it in Africa? No. Did you make it in India? No. You made your money here in America. And of all these people that are African American activists, nobody ever called you the N-word when you got on the first class ticket on a flight anywhere and said, get out of there, we're going to give it to a white guy. No one ever said that.
You know what's funny about the likes of Joy Reid and others, and I knew Roland, okay? I almost did a TV show with him about 15 years ago. Seemed like a nice enough guy. Is that they make it sound like we don't acknowledge that slavery was an inhumane, absolutely awful chapter of our history. Like, we're out there like, well, it wasn't so bad. Of course it was. When we talk about segregation and sunset towns and all these things, we're not like, I don't see anyone defending these things.
No one does. No one does. And these people live in the finest neighborhoods, go to the finest restaurants, get on the first class ticket, the business class ticket. No one, they make more money than the average white guy, Roland Martin. These guys are all millionaires. Well, how do they all become millionaires in a white supremacist country? The last I understood, in Germany, they took everything from the Jews in World War II in they took everything from them. So if it was white supremacy, they would take your stuff too, wouldn't they? Oh, I forgot. There's a law against that. There are laws against it that we passed. I forgot. A lot of us died in the Civil War and the Revolutionary War, so those things wouldn't happen. Peace out to you, my brother.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. Let's see. We don't have time for much of a call here. We've got about a minute. Todd, North Carolina, go ahead, you evil, heartless bastard.
President accounted for, sir.
Go ahead.
Hey, real quick. I agree with that politician that said we shouldn't deport these illegals that are murderers and child molesters and all that stuff like that. Put them in prison in general population. That problem sorts itself.
We could just execute.
If that doesn't work,
we could just execute them.
And if that doesn't work, make wood chippers great again.
I don't know why this is so hard to understand. I mean, I would think that the Democrats who think they're acting in good faith, thank you for the call, on a pathway to citizenship would go, you know what? We're not gonna give into this one. Child molesters, rapists, murderers. If you're not drawing the line there, you're definitely part of the problem. And nuts. Second hour next, John Eastman, senior fellow at the Claremont Institute, is going to join. We're going to talk birthright citizenship. Sirius XM Patriot.
With the high price of new and used cars today, Many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-458-1375. 800-458-1375. 800-458-1375. Coverage varies by plan, new contracts, and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
Got a backyard project or lawn to tame? For over 50 years, VP Racing Fuels has dominated racetracks around the world. Did you know your trimmer, chainsaw, or blower is a little air-cooled race engine, making fuels the logical choice to fuel it? Our specially formulated fuels promote smooth first starts and longer performing engine life. Available now at all your local retailers. Don't let low-quality fuels stall your weekend. When it matters most, choose VP Racing Small Engine Fuels.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If it's happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-294-3311. 800-294-3311. Never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's been making the rounds on Capitol Hill. He's telling senators the Pentagon needs roughly $80 billion, mostly to cover the cost of the war in Iran. Some lawmakers, though, are skeptical of the deal President Trump struck with Iran. For some, it's too lenient. They're also wary of next steps. The White House has requested a larger than usual overall $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon this fiscal year. That's about a 50% increase over the normal amount. It's primary day in 4 states today. Voters headed to the polls to elect candidates in Utah, Maryland, New York, and South Carolina, as Laura Winters reports.
In New York City, Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani endorsing 3 far-left candidates who are running against sitting Democrat members of Congress. In South Carolina, an interesting situation. There's a runoff race for 2 Republicans running for governor. President Trump actually endorsing both of them, Pam Yvette and Alan Wilson. The president writing on his Truth Social page, "I can't hurt one of them by only endorsing the other." He goes on to say, "It's a wealth of riches. With either, you can't go wrong."
That is Laura Winters reporting on Wall Street. A mixed bag. The Dow up by 105 points. NASDAQ struggling, down 381. It's been a fatal shooting in California.
Law enforcement are investigating a shooting at a library in Northern California that left 2 people dead. Police say they responded to a 911 call on Monday evening where sounds of gunshots and people screaming could be heard. The shooting happened at the Chico branch of the Butte County Library. The city's chief of police said once officers went inside the library, the suspect fled out from the back. From there, additional law enforcement was able to take the person into custody. Authorities did not release the suspect's name nor details on what prompted the shooting. I'm Haya Pinjwani.
You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, lien, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about legal tax defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Philanthropic donations in this country were up last year. That's according to an annual report on American giving.
Donors gave U.S. charities $617 billion in 2025, marking a 3% increase from the previous year. This was according to the Giving USA 2026 report. Bequests jumped 17%, a trend that could indicate the start of the long-predicted great wealth transfer from baby boomers to their children and charities. Giving increased across all categories, including corporations and individuals. Strong stock markets and economic growth contributed to this rise, despite federal cuts. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
The Washington Wizards are on the clock as the next team to make news in a busy June around the NBA and the sports world. The Wizards have the #1 pick in the NBA draft, which gets underway tonight in Brooklyn. Breaking news and analysis at Town Hall.
Fusion of rational thought and political analysis. This is what your brain has been waiting for. News, politics, and issues. Enhance. Just join the Will Count Majority.
Your generation of great talk radio. The founder of the new school. That's me, Andrew Wilcox, Sirius XM Patriot phone lines. As always, 1-695 Patriot 957-2874. The email, someone named Wright, WILKW at localmajority.com. Individual Patriot first, conservative second, Republican third, and working every single day to make this the most popular program offered by Sirius XM Radio, because it's based on one thing and one thing only, and that is rational thought. So welcome to the Wilcow Majority. I'm Andrew Wilcow. Now you're into the hardcore summer. We did have a call-in scheduled with John Eastman, a former Trump lawyer, senior fellow at the Claremont Institute, and they are sort of the clearinghouse for research on the 14th Amendment, or at least the birthright citizenship clause. And they have an entire list of quotes from the people that actually framed the citizenship clause in the 14th Amendment. None of these members of the House and Senate leaned on anything that would assume that it was going to include the children of people born to people who are not in the country lawfully. And one of the phrases we keep seeing, and this is from Representative John Bingham of Ohio, I find no fault with the introductory clause, which is simply declaratory of what is written in the Constitution, that every human being born within the jurisdiction of the United States, of parents not owing allegiance to any foreign sovereignty, is in the language of your Constitution itself a natural born citizen. Well, by being a citizen of another nation who's not lawfully present in our nation, then your children would receive their citizenship through their parents in the nation that they were born in. I mean, from the nation where their parents were born. And every single quote here leans on the children of slaves, American Indian tribes, even though those were considered separate nations at the time. The Democrats are not being honest here with their intent. Their intent is to eliminate the border. The sovereign line that divides the citizenry of the United States from every other nation on earth, even though every other nation on earth defends its own sovereignty. And when you have this
Chevalier here in New York City says, well, we shouldn't deport anyone. Then what is the purpose of immigration law? If you can't deport anyone, I would ask an immigration lawyer, what are you going to do for a living? If we have no immigration law, you built your entire practice on it. But one by one and line by line, if you read what the intent was here, again, we just passed Juneteenth. The majority of black scholars would have to acknowledge that that line meant the children of slaves, who they claim to be descended from. That's not bigoted, it's not racist, it's not historically inaccurate. Project 1619 is the thing that is historically inaccurate. The Democrats should be more honest, even to their own voters. Why do they so badly want the open border? What do they stand to gain? We having a problem with Eastman's schedule? All right, well, I will move on until you figure out where he is. I will give you this. The New York Times has a piece about generational unaffordability. That Gen Z, basically Gen X, and when Washington socialists have to be socialists harnessing generational frustration as frustrations of having the cost great church pledge to great land for critics this is unrealistic. People were like, don't like this. Member of council, he said, I want to see leaders do something that some of the America so not all have won on platforms of protest government doing the old just like rising child care housing why be organizing the right not the limitation plutocrats. Housing is so wonderful, especially in major cities. The major are all sanctuary cities. Not a simulation. That way, and when you you look at this that about what they do to set it. That people create does go down because community action or the revolution. Well, business I'm late. I'm late. Great. Yeah. But you have this already had G4 that all right. Start caught to that. What is important is people community right? Self-help book getting help through sales. Well, right. If you cut it, where you down and see that go to farm we when I say you was
I you to the way to be your so person the more. That's right. It's not an opinion. Will not be broken. Channel 104. Each channel 104 series. Everywhere. So that he had life on life. All right. Let's raid somebody, I guess. very chewy. But I do love wearing gators. I got a pair of alligator leather boots coming